She's back, but with some tea. Hello, everyone. Do I look good? I don't know. Lighting is like bad, but whatever. She has made a comeback after 12 years. She has made a comeback after 3 years. I feel good now. Like, my entire YouTube FYP is full of gorgeous women doing a story time while doing that makeup or just looking slay. So I hope I'm looking slay because I'm gonna do a story time. So before anyone judges me based on the title of this video, let me make this clear that I feel female friendships are like a divine bond a woman can have, genuinely, because I adore female friendships more than any kind of a relationship, after my parents, obviously. And on the contrary, female friendships, like a toxic female friendship, can be worse than a toxic relationship with your ex-boyfriend or your ex-girlfriend. So before I bullshit, let's just get started. Grab your snacks for some tea spill while I'm drinking my coffee in my legendary BTS mug, which is like four years old. I was a fat kid in my school. My dad got transferred to Maharashtra from Delhi. I was a fat kid. I was bullied my entire life, my entire school life actually. And secondly, there was a huge language barrier. I was just 10 years old. I was gonna turn 11 or something. My mother tongue is Hindi. We all spoke in Hindi, and the kids around me were just speaking in the native language, which is Marathi. Again, it's fine, but as a kid, I know you would always feel comfortable in your native language. So for the kids around me were speaking in Marathi because they were comfortable in that, and I was speaking in Hindi. So it was very, very uncomfortable for me to like adapt the entire culture, but I gradually did. So imagine you're like 10 years old and there's this one fat kid that comes in your class. Can my light stop acting up? Thank you. And she does not speak the same language as yours. So the first thing in your mind that will come is, let's bully her. Well, yeah, that's exactly what happened. I was admitted to a all-girls Catholic school, okay, like all-girls strict Catholic school. Well, I was in like a very, very chill Karan Johar co-ed, a very, very strict Karan Johar co-ed school in Delhi. So it was a total complete change for me. And even though everybody here right now is very, very welcoming because there are so many people migrating from their different hometowns, and in present everybody is very, very welcoming, but back then no one was welcoming at all. We were the only not a localite in the entire society, so it was kind of like, but I slayed. Just kidding, I didn't. I tried my best to make friends because my mom used to ask me to like go ahead and make friends, like you can at least try to be friends with them and like just go to talk to the teacher if you're like finding it very difficult to like talk to other people. So, and I remember I was sitting alone in class in the lunch break. By the way, it was compulsory to go down and eat in the lunch break, like go down the building. Like you're not supposed to stay in the building. I don't know why. You're not supposed to stay in the building and you have to like go down to have lunch. And I used to secretly stay in the building because I didn't have anyone to eat lunch with for like 2 years. The false accusations never stopped, obviously. I was falsely accused of so many things. I've lost count. But maybe because I was fat, but that's like, I think that's valid enough, So we're saying this, I'm just joking, okay? I was a fat kid, so I'm just like, I get the pass. When I was like in 4th, I became friends with this one girl in my society. I call her S, and she had like a small sister too. So she was 2 years older to me, and basically she was the one who influenced my father. Not really influenced, but she used to go to the same school as me, so she was like, I go to the school, so my dad was like, oh, that's a nice school, so put me into the same school as hers. So I was like, yeah, let's go, we're gonna be friends and have the same school and this and that. So like in the society she was a very, very different person, and in school she was a very, very different person. In school she wouldn't like acknowledge my existence. So every time I used to see her in school, she would just not acknowledge me at all. Okay, so the amount of trauma this girl has given. Oh my god. So we became friends when I was like, when we shifted here, that was in 2010. And when we started going to school together, like when the school opened and everything, we started going to school together. She just wouldn't acknowledge my existence at all. Rather, she would use me to make her other friend jealous every time they would fight. Like for example, her and her friend in the bus, like they would fight, and she would use me to, like, you know, she would give me more attention instead of that girl, so that girl would feel jealous and she would be like, oh my god, S is giving, you know, Unnati more attention, and they both are like good friends, and you know how things work, right? And my mom was like, you know, she's like just using you, why don't you understand that? And I was too young to understand what use means. I was like, I don't know what you're saying. I was so blinded by this idea of friendship that I had with her. I was like, I don't know, you know, it was like kind of overwhelming every time she would give me more attention, because I did not have friends in school or in class at all, and she was the only one I would talk to, you know what I mean? So yeah, that. And then we started going to the same tuition together. We both were like big fans of Hannah Montana, and we used to talk about it for hours and hours and hours. And we used to go to each other's houses, because she used to just live like here, like she was just in the same society as me. So we would have a lot of fun in the summer vacations. And her mom knew me, my mom knew her. Like it was like a good time, but for a very short period. 2 years later, when I was in 6th standard and we were in the same tuition, there was this guy I had a crush on, who was as old as her. Like he was 2 years older to me. Again, he was in the same grade as her but in different school. So I really had a big crush on him, and I was like, damn. Right now when I look back, I'm like, there's nothing crushable about him. But your girl had a crush on someone. So I told this to her, and she told this to other friend that she used to come to tuition with. So basically they were two girls, S and her friend, let's call her, I don't know, B. S and B were like really good friends because they were classmates too. So they used to come to the tuition, and I became friends with R again. I used to be like, oh my god, I have like 2 friends now. I didn't. So I told this to S, and she and S told this to R. And then later on, R joined the same bus as us. So S, R and me, we used to like sit together and we used to talk. And I just knew that R was like grossed out by me. I don't know why, maybe because I was fat, I don't know. But I just know that R was like grossed out. She like didn't really like me at all. Like I can sense vibes, right? But like I was too delusional, and I was like, you know what, it's fine if you don't like me. You will gradually start liking me, because like, look at me, come on, there's nothing unlikable about me. Who are you kidding? So when I told S that I have a crush on this dude, I was like, oh my gosh, she got some tea, you know? And I was like, there's something off about R. Like I just found something very, very off about her. And the fact that S would just always hang out with R was, it used to just piss me off. It used to piss me off a lot. But I was like, fine, if you're happy with it, like it's fine. I mean, I don't know, like there's something off about her. I don't know why. S and I have a small argument about something which I don't even remember. So S and R decide to tell the tuition teacher that I have a crush on that guy. And they would tell them the most weird fake things, like you know, like I'm crushing over his braces. I don't know what, like how would you even come up with something gross like that? So, and I was absent that day when they like spilled the tea that I have a crush on that guy. So the next day when I came to tuition, like everybody were very weirded out, you know, like they were not talking to me at all. Like they just like did not acknowledge my existence. Specifically the guy I had a crush on. I know I used to try to talk to him a little bit, but like he would just ignore me, you know. Every time, like, you know, we left for home, he would just like run away from me. Basically, it was that evident. Like, I just knew that there's something wrong. And then I told all this to my mom, because I had no one to, like, rant about all of this to. So I told all this to my mom. Thankfully, like, she saved my life, basically. So I was like, these girls, I just know that these girls have said something to auntie, to the tuition teacher, and everybody's just not talking to me at all. Tell me what to do. She was like, you know what, just talk to your tuition teacher about this. Tell her that, this is like, it's all fake, like this never happened, and that you are very, very disturbed with how everybody is acting towards you, and that these two girls have basically set a plot against you, which was true. Like, they had in fact done something like that. So I went to the tuition teacher. I told her in private that, like, all this has happened, like I'm just crying my eyes out, because like I was feeling very, very alone. Okay, ever since I've come here, everything was just going downhill. Like, my life was just like, and it was very, very overwhelming for me. Everything was very overwhelming for me, and I couldn't, like, emotionally handle it all, because I'm getting bullied in the bus, no one is talking to me in the class, and the only friend I have in the society just, like, turns 180-degree around and just goes against me and tells the secret to tuition auntie. Basically, she's not even following the girl code. So I don't know what to do. So I just start crying in front of auntie. I'm like, this has happened, like, this is not me, like, they have plotted something against me, this and that. She's like, okay, like, she was convinced, because I was crying helps, by the way, girls. So I think she spoke to all the other tuition kids. They were told them, like, don't treat Unnati like that, like, she's not the culprit here. Thanks to her, the next day my crush starts talking to me, so you know it. That didn't last long. 2 days later, R confesses in front of the entire class that the guy I had a crush on asked R out to be his girlfriend. I was like, oh my god. You know what? And like, I'm kind of like heartbroken. Obviously, I feel like the world is ending for me, because the only guy I have a crush on asks someone else out, and that someone else is the girl who hates me and, like, basically was plotting everything against me. So, and I just know that R was really enjoying seeing me miserable, because she knew that I had a crush on him, obviously, and like, he asked her out, so she was like, who wants me, girl? It was like a roller coaster ride. I wouldn't suggest any child should go through this, honestly. I hated every part of it, but like, after 10 years, guess who is spilling the tea on her YouTube channel? So when I was in like fifth standard, I guess, I became friends with like 3 older girls. Like, they were like 4 years elder to me, and they were like, okay, you know what, you can just sit with us during lunch break, like, we don't mind at all. So I used to sit with them. Like, I sat with them for like 4 days, I guess, and I just, like, I could just smell that they didn't like me at all. Only one of them liked me, maybe because she was just feeling sorry that I was sitting alone during the lunch break, and like, they used to see me every single day, like, for a year and a half, like, like, okay, that girl does not have any friend and she sits alone every single day. So that's the reason why she must have asked me to sit with them. It was like fine, just like it's like fine, I guess. And one of them was very, very, vocal about it. I appreciate her for that. Basically, I appreciate her for that. She was a bitch, but like, I appreciate her for that. And there was this one time when I was like eating my cucumber, and one of the seeds fell into her lunch box. I know that's gross, okay, but you don't have to be a bitch about it to a 5th grader. Well, you are in like ninth standard. So, girl, have your tips. She just lost her shit. On the spot. She was like, you know what, I'm not gonna sit with you anymore. Like, I've had it enough. I'm not gonna sit with you at all. And I was like, listen, I'm very, very sorry for that. Okay, like, this would never happen. I'm very, very sorry. And she gets up and she walks away. Mind you, you're beefing with an 11-year-old girl while you are like 16 years old. The next day when lunch break started, these girls just vanished out of nowhere. Like, they used to always tell me to, like, you know, sit in a certain place. And that day when I went to the lunch break, like down the building, I could not spot them at all. So I sat alone the entire day. And after that, I met one of the girls the one who asked me to sit with them. I was like, you know, like, hey, I'm very sorry for what happened that day. Like, you know, I hope you're not mad at me and all of that. She was like, no, not at all, girl. But like, the girl hates you. So I was like, okay, that's evident enough. That's valid. That's evident. That's suspicious, but that's valid. So when the lunch break starts, we sit together again, and then that girl is just like not, you know, like even looking at me at all. I offer her my food. She's just not looking at me at all. So I'm like, you want me so bad. Just kidding. I was like, listen, I'm very sorry for what happened that day, but you know, like, let's just be friends again. And she was like, no. She straight up said no. So the other one, so the girl who asked me to sit with her automatically just flipped 180 degree, and she says that we don't want you to sit with us anymore. And I was like, what? Like, okay, listen, you hate me, that's okay, like, that's fine, but like, what happened? Why do you hate me now? And they're like, you know what, we just don't want you to be with us anymore. Can you just please leave? I get up and I was like, and I leave. Savage. Oh my god.